McGee. McGee. Hello. Just a forewarning. I did not get enough sleep. I was supposed to get here earlier, but I was stranded. Can you hear me? Forewarning. My eyes are so red. I feel like I slept for like 20 minutes last night. And then I was helping Cami with some stuff today, and then she had some stuff come up, she had to leave, so I really was stranded for like 3 hours. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I apologize, but I'm here. Maybe we'll talk. We're not here to talk about all that stuff. Maybe we can talk about that stuff on Patreon today. But what we are going to talk about is number 92. My patience is a little thin today, so don't test me. I'm just kidding. Am I? I don't know. I did write notes for you guys. I have 2 pages. Okay, let's say hello to everybody. Hi Todd, hi Casey. Yes, this one's working. Sorry, I accidentally clicked the live button on the last one and I just had to abort. But we're here. Hi Ellen. Hi Barrett. Hi Odd Poetic. What happened to the previous? Yeah, well, it was just, it messed up on the YouTube end, like what I was seeing on my screen. So it's fine now though. Sorry. I eventually will have a YouTube studio and just honestly, like by the end of this year, we're gonna have a really cool setup. But for now, enjoy it while it lasts. Maybe I should say a few updates. Mormon Stories actually contacted me today, and then I'm also talking to another big YouTuber. I don't know if I want to say who they are yet because I don't know how for sure that one is. I'm pretty sure that the Mormon Stories thing is gonna happen. I'm actually really excited about that one. Hi Cutthroat. Hi Diana. Hi Meeting Megan. Hi Ellen, hi Taylor. Hi. Hi Crystal. Thank you, you're so sweet. Hi Emily. Hi Simon. Hi Melanie. Okay. Hi Jane, thank you. I literally kept these lashes on from last night. I slept in them and then they're just still here. I almost didn't even get ready today for this because I was running so late, but oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you for the donation. Hi, Amanda. Have a coffee on me. I need one. You're like, you need one. Here you go. You look like you need it. Hi, Prudence. Okay, sorry, you guys. I have been doing the mental Olympics today, so here we are. Number 92. Next week, a reminder, we said this already, but next week is my grandpa's episode 93, so be ready for that one because that one's going to be a long one because there's going to be a lot of history on that one. 93 is my grandpa, my mom's dad, not the leader. So I do have a grandpa who is the leader, number 8, that's my dad's dad. Grandpa, number 93, is my mom's dad. So just a clarification, next week is going to be a really long episode, so just a forewarning on that one. A lot of history on my grandpa for sure. And what happened. Anyway, number 92 is in the DeFay family. You guys remember the DeFays? Remember the bloodline that people didn't like because it was Italian bloodline? That's the DeFay family. But yeah, so number 92 is an interesting story, and it actually is going to bring up some interesting topics for today. So number 92 is, he takes the DeFay last name, but technically, he's not a DeFay because he's the oldest, yes, of his mom's kids, but his mom, I don't know the full story, if his mom left the order had a relationship with a guy. I don't know how serious that was. I wasn't there, but she left. I believe she left. Something didn't work out on the outside, came back, and boom, 92 was born. To like, all I know, it was some random outsider. I have no idea how or why or what or whatever. I can't tell you. But so he is the firstborn of his mom's kid. But his mom, it does have the ties to the order because her dad, I believe, number 92's grandpa on his mom's side is a numbered man. So we go down that line, but technically his dad, his bio dad, is not an order member, but he takes the DeFay last name because his mom ends up marrying a DeFay. So that's what's interesting about this is he takes the DeFay last name. No one really knows who his real dad is. Well, at least we didn't know. It wasn't really talked about. This kind of stuff is very hush hush, and it's gonna lead into some more stories of these interesting who's the father stories, and you guys have had questions, and I'm not saying that number 92's mom had an affair, no, but you guys have had questions about people having affairs and what happens when they get pregnant, things like that. So we'll be talking about that in a second. Let's get through this number 92. So number 92 is very dedicated order member, and that some say that's how he got his number because he was never a polygamist, but he was very, very loyal to Brother Paul, very loyal to the work, so loyal that I believe he's the only one left of his siblings still in the order, of his full siblings. Last of his kind, last of the DeFays, but not really because he's not really DeFay. Confusing, very confusing, rare breed, so rare. So number 92, like I said, was the oldest in his mom's kids. And then he did get married, but as I said before, he does not live polygamy, but he does have the number 92. He has kids, super devoted, and he's about in his 50s now. I wish I knew when he earned his number, but I don't know when he earned his number. But I find it so interesting, though, the whole story of it. And there are a few people of these that are order members that as I was in the order, I would hear through the grapevine that they had a different dad, but I remember hearing that they didn't even know that they had a different dad. So do you guys remember there was a story about the siblings, the half siblings that accidentally got pregnant in the order? Do you guys remember that story? Does anyone remember that story? Sometimes I forget if I told the story here or if I told it on Patreon, so I'm trying to decide if I should tell the story again. I did see that, Mark. She sent it to me, and I actually ordered some of those, so you guys are going to see me wearing those shirts. Okay, yes, you do remember the story of the half-siblings having a baby, and they didn't get married. Okay, anyways, I'm just going to tell a story that's based along the lines of that. So basically, there is a story of a man who was caught sleeping with a married woman in the order. So this is what happened. And this is from what I was told. Again, wasn't there, but this is what I was told. So she is married to her uncle. I mean, that's a fact that happened. She got married to her uncle, and she was one of a few wives. And apparently, I mean, if you can imagine being in a relationship with multiple women with your uncle, it probably isn't very fun. So she ended up having a little affair with, I don't know how she knew the guy. I think he was working for an order business. I'm not sure how they were intermingling, but she had an affair with a guy in the order. And so what happened? What do you guys think happened? I'm ready. Guess, you guys. Just kidding. I don't know why this story is so interesting to me. But so she has an affair with this guy. She gets pregnant by this man, who is an order man. And just Ryan says they got married. No, because she was already spoken for. She was already spoken for by her uncle. So the uncle, husband, Unkben, or Huskell, He goes and he talks to the leader, and he's like, my wife got pregnant by this other bozo over here. The guy gets excommunicated from the order. They push him out of the order. She has the baby, but the leader tells this husband that, you know, the uncle to the wife that had the affair. The leader tells him that he needs to not touch his wife for a year and a half, because there was this, I'm not 100% sure, but it was like this weird conspiracy that maybe that she was dirty, and she either, I don't know if it's that she needed to repent for a year, or if it's that she was dirty from his body parts and didn't want that to transfer to him, which is so ironic, right? It's like, another man touched you, get away from me. You're sleeping with 4 girls. Just rotating. What about me? You're dirty. Anyways, so he didn't touch her for a year and a half. And that was shocking to me, because I'm like, I thought that they were so, and they're so into like, get your wife pregnant as fast as possible. So the fact that the leadership was like, don't sleep with your own wife, it's like, isn't that contradicting to the Lord's work? What the Lord wants? Interesting. Anyway. Yes, her uncle. I know, I feel like there were so many parts of that story where it's like, wait. Should I say it again? She was married to her uncle. She cheats on uncle with not uncle. Has baby. That baby probably has really good genes. Because not uncle baby. But she gets in trouble. Was she allowed to keep her baby? Yes. Oh, this is a good question. Thank you for this question, Mandy. So there have been times where, because the baby was, you know, is of the right bloodline, they keep the baby and they just, you know, say it's the dude's baby. And I have questions of this. I'm going to say my questions at the end of this. But so they'll let them keep the baby. They just raise it as just like this number 92 technically is not his, the DeFay is not really his last name, but he took the last name DeFay of his dad, right? Of his so-called dad. Of his new dad. So they'll do that, but there have been, and I've told this story, where the woman got pregnant by an outsider who was not white. And we all know how that story ended. They did not get to keep it. They were basically pressured into giving their baby up. But yeah, then the story of the half siblings who got pregnant. She was supposed to marry, I think she married a polygamist, and then I don't know for sure if that baby even knows who the real father is, and that the real father is also her uncle. So interesting. But so my question is about this, because there have been a lot of people believing in the order that the woman's original husband is her husband that she will be returned to in the afterlife. So let's say that I'm married in the order, I have 2 kids, and then my husband dies. And then I get remarried. We don't be living women cannot have multiple husbands. How dare they? So what happens is they will have the second husband, and that husband, this is what a lot of people believe in the order, and this is older teaching. The second husband is just really fathering the celestial husband's kids. So what they were teaching, I don't know if they still teach this, but at the time they did teach that when she died, like let's say I marry this guy, I have like 10 kids with him, but I have those 2 kids with the original guy. When I die, me and all my children go back to the original, to the OG. And so by this theory, I forgot where I was going with that. By this theory, does that mean, it just doesn't make sense now, because by that theory, these illegitimate kids, right? And then to take it a step further, I'm trying to catch my train of thought on this. That took too long to explain. Mother, father, remarried, by that theory. By that theory, if someone dies and you go back to heaven, you can fill in the blanks, right? Where my brain was going with that. It doesn't make sense. If there's an original father, then does there have to be like a sealing that happens? Because just like this number 92 was not originally. Hi, Rochelle. Philip Kingston says it's called being married for time and eternity. Okay, well then Philip, can you answer the question why what's the point of them getting remarried then on this earth? If they're only supposed to be married to one person for time and eternity, is that what your point is? And then if the person had, just like the number 92 is fathered by some person on the outside, does he go to heaven to the DeFay family even though technically the DeFay is not his dad? What about the dad on the outside? He has no link to him in the afterlife? I don't know. Also, what happens to that one girl where her baby was not white and then they made the baby go get put up for adoption? Where does that baby go in heaven? Does it just go in the trash? These are real questions. Girl, you need sleep. I know. I'm so tired. Look how bloodshot my eyes are. Please let me go to bed, you guys. Please. Did whomever came up with that do so after eating some special mushrooms or cactus? No, I have no idea. Sometimes when I go over the old order history and what they believed, I'm like, what? So this makes sense, but that doesn't, and you can have a bajillion wives, but you can't share your husbands, and but like if you have a baby out of wedlock, or if it's not white, it's not the right child, but then what happens to that child? So Philip Kingston says, nope, they were not sealed by the marriage covenant. Okay, so there have been women who their husbands have died and then they got remarried. So when they got remarried, they didn't get sealed by the covenant? So Priscilla, for example, okay? So Priscilla's mom had 3 kids. Priscilla was one of those 3 kids, and then Priscilla's father passed away. She remarried a numbered man. Are you telling me, Philip, that numbered man, his number is 100, we'll be talking about him soon, you're telling me that when they all die and go to heaven, she's not going to stay with that numbered man, number 100, and that she did not have a spiritual marriage with him? She's just going to go back to the original one? Which, by the way, I don't believe that the original husband even had a number yet. He was like 23 at the time that he passed away. These are good questions. Jana's here. Jana, can you answer this question? Somebody help me with this question. Seems like the women in the order are looked at as lesser humans. You're doing a lot of good, Amanda. Oh, yes. Lesser humans for sure. So here, Philip Kingston, he's an order member, by the way. He's saying they did, but for only time, not for eternity. Yes. So he's saying so in Priscilla's case, her mom's first husband, they were sealed for time and all eternity, which means when her mom dies, she's going to go back to that one, because in this life, she got sealed, yes, to this one, the new daddy, but only for time, not all eternity, because women, God forbid, they have more than one husband, but men have as many as you please. Why? I don't know. Because it's the celestial law of marriage. Who said that? I think because Moses, when he smashed the plates. Remember when he smashed the plates on the rock because people were being evil? It was on those plates, celestial marriage. But nobody's seen it, but I know that it was on there. Okay. Then how come the new commandments were thou shalt not commit adultery, which is exactly the opposite of celestial marriage, polygamy, which a lot of numbered men go forward on women behind their wives' backs? Is that not adultery? What the hell is? Why is that even in the 10 Commandments then? Also in the Bible it says not to sleep with your sister. Why are you guys doing that? You guys just need to start your own Bible at this point. It's not adding up. It's not. They remarry a brother to the husband? Wait, what? Not sure if they stay with the new marriage in heaven. Yeah, see, so that must mean they still do believe this way to this day, that the woman goes back to her original husband, not the new one. But I have heard people in the younger generation not like that because they love their wife and they want to be with them in the afterlife, but that's too bad because she's already sealed to this dude that she was married to for like 1 year before you. That's how it goes. But I've also heard people say, well, she'll get a choice. But, like, this is the thing. It's like, I don't know. What did Alexa say? I watched Culty Cup of Coffee 29 today, and you said, what's the point of women getting remarried? My thoughts are obviously repopulation, but the new husband now owns all the property of the wife, first husband. Yeah, so definitely you're right. I've never seen a woman get remarried after she can't have kids. That's the main purpose of her getting remarried, is to keep bearing children. But once they're past that like menopause stage, there's no real point for them to get remarried, right? So if your husband dies and you're like 45, you don't get remarried. But yeah, see, look, Philip says, Crystal, you need a man to get to the highest degree of heaven. Thank you for telling us, Philip. We all need a man to get to the highest degree of heaven, everybody. Take notes. What if, I have a question now. Just kidding, I'm going to make people mad at this question. Did Priscilla's grandma get remarried? Which one? Tucker? Tucker married Ortel. Tucker married Ortel. Is that the one you're talking about? Dun, 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 dun. Are you guys watching Sister Wives tonight? Cody is the worst. I will not be watching it, but I will probably watch a future one. It's the men who are just sick to twist the Bible's words with their own perverse beliefs. And that's where it's at this point. That's where it's like upsetting to me, is it's like there are so many obvious wrongs, but they will not get off their high horse and say, you know what? There have been some issues because I married my sister or my niece. Because there is obvious issues that have happened because of that. But they're not stopping. The first time there was an incest marriage in the order was not the original leader. Brother Eldon did not do underage marriages or incest. Guess who started? Ortel, with his first wife being his niece. I don't know what possessed him to do that, but then slowly we start getting younger women to older men, and it's just kind of evolved into this gross thing that we have today. But at this point, like, and I felt like this in the order too, like, so as long as you slap because God said on whatever you're saying, then it justifies it. So at that point, there's no logic. Because God said, because God said, because God said. Okay, great. Oh yeah, remarried Joe wasn't... Okay, wait. Did she remarry after she couldn't have kids? And why? I thought, no, the Porter, are you talking about the Porter mom? The Porter mom that was married to Ortel and then married Ortel's son? You're talking about that one? She could still have kids though, I thought. That's why she remarried. You shall not uncover, okay, here's Caroline coming in here with the Leviticus. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, your father's daughter, or your mother's daughter, whether brought up in the family or in another home. Leviticus 18:9. The reason we bring up the Bible is because you guys are living off the Bible and claiming that you're living the true teachings of the Bible, whilst laying with your sister. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister. I don't know. Pretty sure Paul's uncovering the nakedness of his sisters because they are having his babies. So, thank you, Caroline. She's like, you better. Married both of his dad's wives. Oh wow, I didn't know he married more than one. So you guys remember the the family bush video where we talked about the Porter mom marrying Ortel's own son. So like you could just imagine marrying your husband and then he dies, that he had kids with another wife, and then you marry those kids. Or you're a son. Okay, let's do it from the sons for a second. Hi, there's daddy. Daddy's boinking all these women. He. Daddy dies. Oh, I'm gonna take 2 of daddy's women for myself to boink. And God said. Okay. God said. You can't argue with God. I thought she had kids with Joe. I don't know. I think she was of age to be still having kids, which is why they remarried her, but I don't believe she did have kids with him. Can we have anyone confirm? Order does not have their own cemetery, maybe for unborn children, but they all do burials in Bountiful, if I remember right. Most of the order, like if you go to the, I don't know the exact location, but there's a Bountiful cemetery, and there's a ton of gravestones that you'll see random numbers. And like I feel like outsiders would be like, oh, maybe that's the age they died, because like 62 or like 87, but the number is their number in the order. Like my grandpa, who we're going to be talking about next week, got a number engraved on his grave, which a lot of people actually were really mad at, because he was not really for the order, but we'll talk about it next week. It's all about the boinking. It's so true. Okay. I just hate that the leaders were not FLDS, but were originally from the Mormon Church. Most got excommunicated in the early 1900s. But it is interesting. Jana has a good point. So we all come from the LDS Church, right? Because that's who started polygamy, was Joseph Smith. But where did all these polygamists go when they got abolished polygamy? They had to abolish polygamy for Utah to become a state. Utah didn't become a state till they abolished polygamy. So where did all these polygamists go? There were some church leaders in the LDS Church who were still living polygamy secretly for a while. Some were excommunicated, the polygamists, right? Most of my heritage. But like mine and Jana's grandpa, Price Johnson, came from the FLDS Church. But I actually just found out, technically, he was not a member of the order. Did you know that, Jana? Technically, he did not ever join. Or he would have had a number, because at that time they were handing out numbers as people were joining, and so they never gave Price a number because they never let him join. Isn't that interesting? They didn't let him join because at the time it was a co-op, and they were trying to like sustain each other, and he was coming in with like a few people, and they didn't know if they could feed that many mouths with only one worker, because he would be the only one working and contributing to the leader, to the co-op. Is Caroline and Philip going back and forth? This is so interesting to me. I actually encourage, as long as you're doing it in a respectful way, I encourage it. I get triggered because I grew up my whole life listening to people like Philip telling me that I have to share my husband, but God forbid you ever share, he ever share you. So I get triggered. So I appreciate that you guys are having decent communication. Thank you for the memberships, Mark. The one thing that just really bothers me, can I vent for a second? Don't tell anyone, okay? One thing that really bothers me, are we still live? Okay. Is the fact that like, there were so many things centered around father appreciation in the order, and like, like it was like Father's Day and the dad's birthday were like huge deals in the order, but the mothers were like forgotten. And like this legit, like I legit heard these conversations. Like here's a conversation that actually happened in the order, okay? This kid's like, my dad is so amazing. I just so think, like, I'm so lucky to have him. And the person asks, why? What does he do for you? And he says, for example, he gave me his old running shoes. And it's like, you not even new running shoes. He wore down the shoes to the point of probably wanting to throw them away. Found you probably were in the way of him in the trash can, and he was like, here you go. And the kid is so happy for that because the bar is so low. Meanwhile, the mom's over there, she knows all the kids' sizes, she knows all she has the birthdays memorized, she's making sure that she's getting the food stamps to go, like she's doing everything. But let's not acknowledge that. And you know what it made me think of? It's like, it kind of makes me think of like, have you ever known people where you just don't expect much out of them because they're kind of stupid? So you just don't expect much out of them, but then you expect more out of someone who's like more capable and like, so to me, it looks like we all as org members just think that the men are not capable. And then we hold them to that low standard because they're just, it kind of looks bad. Don't you think? Like here's these men like getting praise for the bare minimum because they're like, it's like toddlers, like, you gave him your old shoes! You have some empathy! Yoo-hoo! You know what I mean? It's like, but then the women are like doing all of this and it just never gets talked about, it never gets acknowledged, and they just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I remember when I was a kid, because I had this same thing, I'm sure Janet did too. I'm sure all of us from the order have this like, at one point in our life, like worshiping the ground our dad walks on, like, yo, but it's so weird because it's like having so much respect for Santa Claus, someone that you like never see. So you know what I mean? It's like so magical, but like where is he? You know what I mean? And you're praising him for these things that for what? I remember, I was talking about this memory today actually. I was raised to be so like obsessed with my dad. Like to be so like he's the next to God, he's bringing us to heaven, like pedestal him, right? And I remember so we all loved playing baseball in the order. That was like a big thing in the order, is baseball, softball. And I remember being outside in the hot sun, being so excited that he asked me to help with this because he was practicing pitching. But I remember specifically he was in the shade and I was in the sun in the backyard. He was in the shade with his baseballs, and we had this little mat. And I was standing, my job was to stand next to the mat in the hot sun. I remember sweating. And the mat was right there, and he had to pitch the balls. And my job was to say if it was a strike or not. And I just remember sweating and being like, but so happy that I got to spend some time with my dad. And it was doing what he wanted to be doing. Like, anyways, I just wanted to share that story because sometimes I look back on it and think, who was teaching me that, you know? My family, let's see, you heard Jana's story. My family celebrated the mothers like normal people do. Everybody else must be on a power trip. Really? No, Excel, I was referring to Eskil Peterson. Both of our grandpas, sorry, should have cleared that up. Excel. Wait, so you guys did celebrate your moms. That's awesome. I just remember like having to fight to promote my mom. And I remember there were times where it was weird. Like I remember in class they were like, let's all talk about someone that we really look up to and someone that we're really grateful for. And every single person talked about a numbered man, like their dad and then I got up and talked about my mom and how she has to do so much to raise 9 kids, basically on her own. And I can't remember if it was the teacher that rolled her eyes, but someone was like rolling their eyes, and I'm like, and we're all women here. Why are you rolling your eyes? You're against your own self at this point. Aquanta's here. I'm getting heated. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a wall. No, not with you guys. I love you guys. But like a lot of the times I just want order people to see how they're being and how it's not fair. And then sometimes I'm like, Are they even listening? But I know they are because I've gotten messages. I've gotten a lot of messages from order members, and there have been people that reach out to leave. Julie says my dad treated some of his wives like garbage, and that is a sad, sad, sad reality of polygamy. I've said this multiple times, there is usually always a favorite. Like in the leader's family, there's two favorites, and they're the pretty girls. Sorry, not to say that all the wives aren't pretty, but like these ones are just, they took care of themselves more. They, you know, I don't want to say too much information about what they do, but anyway. And then there's, as how there is the favorites, there's some least favorites. There's ones that they treat like garbage sometimes. Not all families do this, but there are quite a few, a shocking amount actually, where you can tell which one is the hated wife and which family. Almost sometimes it's like the entire family just gets treated like shit. And it's like, what? This is the law of the celestial kingdom, right? So what are you doing? This should be equal, right? I don't know. And if you guys watch my Sister Wives video, we all can agree, it just breeds narcissism. Because if you have this community that's just like, thank you for bringing us to the celestial kingdom because you have a number and you're the one that's bringing me to heaven. When I heard people saying this in the order, you cannot get into heaven without a numbered man bringing you there. That numbered man's gonna be a narcissist. If you were told your whole life how great you are, did you know, like, research it. In psychology, so there's this debate that some narcissists can be, so some of the narcissistic traits can be genetically in there, and then a lot of it can be environmentally. And if you raise your kid like, you're better than everyone, they're gonna think that they are. And you know what I think, who I think did that in the order? We can all guess. Because it seems like that whole family believes that they're hot shit and everyone else needs to suffer. But it's true. If you raise your kids that they're better than everyone else, they get the exception, they don't have to follow the rules like everyone else, then they will start to become narcissists. Because they have this idea that I am the best and you are not. But with narcissism, man, we could go on forever about narcissists, but they really believe everything is black and white. A lot of them do. Which is why if they're not the best, they're the worst. So for them to believe that they're not the best, their whole world comes crumbling down. That's true. Sorry, Philip. Men can go to heaven without a number, but you have to be righteous, right? You have to be righteous and basically earn your ticket to heaven. But there is a belief system, and I need to research this more because I remember, I don't want to say who it was, but this person was so dedicated to the order, they wanted a number so bad, they finally got it on their deathbed, and they were like, thank God, like I got my number right before dying. I don't know if that makes you, I believe to a lot of people, they think it's their ticket to heaven. That is their ticket to heaven. And maybe it's harder for people to make it to the celestial kingdom without a number. But also, can you make it to the celestial kingdom without a number and without living polygamy? So for example, Priscilla's dad, who died in his early 20s, he never lived polygamy and he never got a number. Thus he made it to the celestial kingdom. That's such a good question, Serena. Philip, I'm a light-skinned Latina. Can I join the order? I'll tell you actually the real answer. He says if you want to, sure. You want to know the real answer, Serena? And I've talked to boys in the order about this question. I was like, hey, if someone who is not the skin color you guys like wants to join, can they join? And they say, yeah, but they'll never get married because you have to be of the 12 tribes of Israel. Is this true? Philip, do you want to speak on that? You have to be of the 12 tribes of Israel, so you will never get married in the order. You will basically just work for the order till you die, unless you want to bring another person of your same color. But I'm going to tell you this right now. They wouldn't let you join. I really 100% believe, this is my opinion, so I'm not God, I'm not Paul, but here's what I think would happen. With someone who's not the skin color that they want, if they were like, hey, I want to join, they would probably say, okay, there's a fee that you need to pay, and depending on how much they don't want you to join, they'll tell you a higher or lower number. Here's your fee. And then if you pay that fee and they find that they can take advantage of you and take advantage of your money, you have a lot of money, they could use you, then maybe they'll use you how they want to use you. But will they baptize you, do all these things? I don't know. I've never seen it. I mean, if you look at the history in the order, there were people with Italian bloodlines that were treated like shit. I don't like playing shit. And they didn't get married, and I watched them get called the N-word. I got called the N-word because I had darker, like, tan skin when I was a young kid. You can't buy your way to heaven. Oh, but you can! I'm just kidding. Mary, I'm the right color, but I'm too old to make babies. I guess there's no sense in trying to join the order. Darn it! I mean, if you have white daughters, they'll take them. I thought money was the root of all evil. It's exactly why you have to give it all to Paul, so that he can make sure that you're not doing anything evil with it. He's going to keep it safe for you. You're going to keep it safe. We're going to be talking a lot about that next week, about my grandpa. And Philip won't be able to come here and tell me what really happened because I know what really happened. Serena, can you define Latina? Does that mean you are of Spanish? Oh, I was wondering if you're asking to see, like, what level of joining the order you could be. But, I feel like that was a snooty comment. I do like when you're here, Philip, but sometimes I feel like it's a very one-sided conversation. I'm Middle Eastern, but I'm pale and light-colored. So the 12 tribes of Israel, if I remember correctly, it's white. And then some Native American is also in the 12 tribes of Israel. But this is what's interesting is the order really, at least everyone that I've talked to in the order about this, they really believe that Jesus is white. They don't believe that he was not white. Sometimes I feel like I go a little bit crazy every time I talk about this, the stuff that I used to believe in. I'm like, what the hell? Okay. I think that's it for today. I am going to be on Patreon. We do Monday lives every Monday. I did want to say too, so I was supposed to be coming out with a video. That was a really heavy video this week. I could not deal with a lot of it, and I actually am doing a video, I'm literally going to come out with a video called Trauma. We're going to be talking about trauma. It's not going to be like sad. It's going to be hopefully just enlightening, and it's just going to be talking about how to like cope with trauma, because I've had to really learn that a lot, and especially with this story that's coming out. It's a very, very, very traumatic one, so if you can't handle very traumatic stories, don't watch it. But the video that's labeled trauma, that one should be easy to listen to. The one after that one is going to be so that anyone who can't handle really doesn't watch it. Anyway, thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate you, and maybe I'll answer a few more questions before I leave, and then I'm actually going to bounce on over to Patreon. Philip Kingston, it is healthy to have a different side of things as long as it is respectful. Yeah, and I do agree, but that's the thing is, I just can't get behind someone who believes that the woman should be loyal to a man while he's cheating. I just can't get, as soon as you start saying that to me, everything you say goes in one ear out the other. I'm just not listening. And the whole, numbered man thing is so true. I remember believing once a man gets a number, he's got his ticket to heaven. It's his 100% chance he's going to heaven. And that's why they have the pictures of the numbered man. They have them all around the school. I remember it was at Enzyme Learning Center. I'm like, why do we have these numbered men all around the school? And that's another thing, is like, narcissism much? Like, why do you guys have to have your pictures everywhere? And then for Christmas, you know what I got for Christmas was a wrapped picture of my dad in a suit. What am I supposed to do with this? Put it above my bed? Pray to it? Kiss it before I go to bed? I don't understand, and I can't even imagine doing that to my kid. Here's a picture of myself. You're welcome! What? That is so weird. Anyway, Rochelle says, this was great, a great live. I missed everyone so much. We missed you. We hope that the little baby's doing well, though. I'm getting so baby hungry, Rochelle. Don't ever send me any more pictures of your baby, or I'm gonna go steal it. Just kidding. Raise it as my own. All right. My face is like, I'm burning up. I don't know why I wore a sweater. Amanda, are you LSD? It seems like you would go for that. No judgment from me. LSD, like the drug? I have never done an illegal drug, actually. Some people get shocked when I say that because they act like I act like I'm on drugs all the time, but no. It's just the anxiety, depression, PTSD, all just made a perfect little concoction. And that's me. If you claim to believe in the Bible, it's important to know what it says and at minimum learn about what you align yourself with. I agree so much, Caroline. I'm so glad you were here today. LDS! You said LSD! Oh, you didn't. You said LDS. That shows where my mind is. Now everyone's like, she is on LSD. Am I gonna get demonetized for saying LSD 40 times? I never joined the LSD. I never joined the LDS church. Almost, though. After I left the order, I was like talking to missionaries and I was gonna join, but I didn't. But I also didn't ever do LSD. Okay. Love you guys. You have to be on LSD to be alien. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you told me LSD! I read it again. Oh, okay. Thank you for saying that, Love and Life 9419. Thank you. Hopefully Philip is here to read that. We, as a community here, I feel like everyone that I've talked to on here, we all just want to grow and better ourselves. And we want that for each other. We want to be held accountable as we want others to be held accountable as well. Because guess what? Once you have to reiterate who you are and what you believe, you learn more about yourself and you can become a better version of yourself. Hold yourself accountable, hold others accountable. We all become better people that way. So when we're testing, I don't like that word actually. When we're saying these things to you, Philip, it's healthy. This is healthy discussions, and I encourage it. At school, she's definitely on something. You get out of here right now. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Next week is, if there's any Culty Cup of Coffee to be on next week's. I mean, you don't have to be. If you can't make it, that's fine. But that one is going to be a very, very, very long one. So I feel like if you're like, oh, what time is it going to be? It's going to be long. So at some point you'll hop in on there. I feel like it's going to be hours long. Because I do want to answer all the questions and I want to get all of it very accurate and open it up for, y'all. But all right. Love you guys. I will see some of you in a few minutes. And maybe some of you tomorrow and the rest of you next week. Okay, love you guys. Bye.